there was a moment actually where you know, a lot of the apocalypse started happening, and but I wasn't quite getting it totally. It all just started. It still looked like the same thing to me. And then I was watching one night. I think it may have been a day, or I was just finding out about the guy that the cop that killed the person on TV, right?
Yeah.
And somewhere around there, and then there are three hurricanes, and then like 20 riots or something like that, and the plague, right? All happening at once. I was watching the news, and something about, for some reason, if the news just reached out and it hit me. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. No, we're actually, this is a different, it felt like time itself had changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh
this
yeah.
is we're in a different temporality,
Oh
like
yeah.
is how I would put it. But I wasn't left, the insight didn't leave me with any sense of orientation, right? I was like, everything that I could grab onto to try to understand it didn't quite hold. And then a few days later, I was watching your videos, and I think it was the first video or two after that where you actually came out and talked about the actual event. And you talked about that you took your time with it, right? Because it took something to really understand it. But when you explained, when you especially when you explained the phenomena of all of us watching, right, this man get killed, right, and that you explained the phenomena of how we were identified with the cop, we were identified with the person being killed, and the
Mm.
catharsis,
Yeah.
and all the symbolism that you put around it. And you explicitly said like, "Hey, sorry guys," and this is and you also talked about the fall of the West in the burning of the statues, and gave that great explanation. I love this explanation. It's like you move into a house and there's still the past family still has their pictures up. You're like, no, you're going to want to take them down. It was like, it just, it's like, that's so true. And you said, hey guys, listen, I'm sorry, I don't have any solutions. All I can do is kind of articulate what I think is maybe happening. But there was this way where that I felt like after that, I found myself in a place inside of it. And I was
Mm.
like, I felt myself being able to grip onto something um, that was a bit ecstatic and very, very orienting. And I remember I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, like this is, I looked at my wife, Brianna, I was like, I think this is his role. Whatever it is he's doing, I think he just did it.
Oh well, good. Thank you. Well, I'm happy that I kind of help you get some clarity in that in the strange moment. It's been this year. The thing about what's happening is that time is really accelerating, and so the shifts in, let's say, the shifts that you felt, this kind of temporal shift or this shift of worlds, like as if the ground is moving underneath you,
Yeah.
is usually something that would happen like every few hundred years, but now it's happening every few years. And
Right?
so, I felt it happen at the last in 2016. I felt it happen, and
Yeah.
now I'm feeling it happen. And so it's like 4 years is a short time for the world to change so much in terms of the whole ground kind of shifting underneath you. For people who are intuitive, it's very, very existentially difficult because you feel it, like you
Yeah.
really, it's like it stops you from sleeping, and you feel it, that you feel like the world is changing, and it's almost like it's you're, it's like you're tied to a giant gear and it's like stretching you. And so I understand what you're saying, and so I feel it very much so.
Yeah.
And so I also try to, so hopefully if we can at least help people feel the
Mm.
despair which goes with that, or at least if people understand what's going on, then even though you can't stop it, you don't feel just
Yeah.
falling, like you don't feel like you're just falling, like at
Right.
least there seems to be
Yeah.
some frame around what's happening for you to understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's an also a very interesting thing in itself of like if I don't have a frame around what's happening, if there's no place for me to kind of get a handle on something, like what I get a handle on may just actually what I got a handle on is that there is no handle, right? Maybe that's the thing that I got my handle on, but there is this element of, and I don't know where I stand in a lot in this whole issue because I see because I really feel the same thing that you're talking about, of where I'm like, whoa, like there's like existential changes that are happening at such a level, right? That used to take thousands of years to happen. And they're just boom, 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 happening closer and closer. Like, and for me, there's really this element of like, well, I'm on a ride here. I don't know exactly what I'm riding, right? But like, I'm on a ride, and when I hear people respond to like, right, what like, what did you just?
Yeah, oh man, I know, but the thing is that this ride has been going for a while. Like
Yeah,
the ride has been lasting a few centuries. Now, the thing we don't realize is that the ride slowed down
right.
after, the tens and tens and tens of millions of people that were slaughtered in World War II. So because World War II ended in such a mass carnage
Mm,
and two nuclear explosions, then it's as if the rides slowed down for 1-2 generations, but that's it.
yeah,
It's starting up again. It's the
right.
same ride that brought the world into the revolutions after the Enlightenment, and so it's only we just were fortunate to be in a pause, after mass slaughter, but so it's not pretty. What's on the horizon is not. I'm smiling as I say it. I always laugh in the worst moments, but it's not pretty. Yeah.